What's up, everybody? Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you a brand new figure overview. Today, we are taking a look at some of the new custom clone troopers from Vail's toy store over on AliExpress. They have been on an absolute tear recently, cooking up some of the most wanted Black Series figures that we've been waiting for. So in this video, we're going to talk about the 212th Airborne, and then we also have Jester, Commander Neyo, and the 91st Recon Grunt, all with us here, finally in some form of Black Series representation. So love them or hate them, you know what it is at this point. So if you're not really a fan of these figures, if you don't really agree with them, then this video won't be for you. But if you want to check out some cool looking clone troopers that are in Black Series scale, let's go ahead and just jump into it. We'll start with the figure that was released first, which is the 212th Airborne. Now you can see here, this is based off of Revenge of the Sith. This is Barlex specifically, so we actually do see him in the movie. And this is one of our most wanted clone troopers in the official Black Series line. Such an easy slam dunk for Hasbro to do, but for some reason they refuse to. And so Vail's has given us that mashup that we've needed, which it's pretty simple. I mean, this is just the Purge Trooper helmet here, repainted, and then some extra bits throughout the costume itself. The figure comes with both Clone Trooper blasters, which is pretty standard fare for the AliExpress troopers, and then we also have a removable bag here, which looks pretty nice. And so here's the figure just out and about, and you can see he looks fantastic. There is some really nice added sculpted detail work, a little bit on the shoulder pad there, and this harness piece. The yellow is pretty bright. It doesn't really match well with the Hasbro 212 figures, but if you have other Vail's 212, this one fits in perfectly with them. The helmet is removable, and you can see I have the head on backwards. This time they put a scaled down Sideshow Hot Toys head on this figure to fit the helmet. It's a really slim fit there, so the normal Hasbro head would not have worked with this helmet. And when you have it on normally, it's a little too much chin action for me there. So to solve this, I just twist the head around. I put the helmet back on, and I think it works much better this way. This is also on the 2020 body, so it still has the knee pads are on the top of the knee. You know, they're glued down. It doesn't quite have the updates like the other three figures in this video will have. While I would have liked to see this on that new updated body, I think the added extra sculpt bulks this one up a little bit more, so it fits in with some of the more bulkier clones, which I think, you know, you'd kind of want that out of the 212th Airborne. So I think this is a perfectly great representation of this clone trooper, and I'm so happy to finally have it on the shelf. And yeah, he looks great. I'm happy that at least someone out there is fleshing out the 212. So like I said, the other three here are all on the updated 2023 clone trooper body. So they have the floating knee pads, the chest overlay is not glued down, the shoulder pads are on the separate O-ring, and these are just incredible here. So this is supposed to be Jester, who we see briefly in the Clone Wars. Never actually see him in this particular costume, so this is kind of a little bit of a Vail's making some stuff up. It's okay, I was just super excited about these figures, so I wanted to pick it up. So he's got the unique helmet with the 91st Recon logo, and he just looks awesome. He's got a little comma action going on here too to differentiate him from Neyo, and you get the blaster cannon with him as well, which is always nice to see. And the articulation is just buttery smooth, just like always with the Vail's figures. You know, there is no like clicking and clacking that you kind of have on the Hasbro figures, especially like down at the feet. I think that's always the biggest difference. Is there's a little bit there now, but for the most part it's super smooth. So I always really have liked that about the Vail's figures, and these are my first ones on the new body that they've done, so I'm just over the moon with how smooth these are. They pose like a dream, and they look great. Jester, obviously looking awesome here. And then we also have the Grunt Trooper, which is one of my top wanted designs in Black Series as far as clone troopers go. growing up, I had the like 10 or 12-inch version of this, and that was one of the Star Wars figures I played with the most. I still actually have it to this day. It's on the set of Figure It Out, but I've always wanted that in Black Series since it's kind of a nostalgic trooper for me. So finally having this and it being on that updated 2023 body, again, it just looks incredible. They did a great job with the logo. It's printed on very well. It has a nice reflective red look to it. The helmet is removable, of course, so you can see the unpainted head underneath, but you know, you do get a little chin just like on the real figure as well, but it's not too bad. So yeah, there is the Recon grunt. Whoop. Lastly, for the Veils catch-up, we have Commander Neyo, and he looks incredible. We're missing the extra shoulder piece here, which is a little bit of a bummer. I kind of am curious as to why they didn't include that. But otherwise, though, you can obviously tell who this is if you are familiar with the Clone Troopers. So we have the extra straps, of course, the unique helmet that matches with Jester. These are not... I'm sure they are removable if you try hard enough, but for me, they're just not... The helmet's not really coming off with ease. When I pull, the entire head actually wants to come off as opposed to the helmet slipping off. So I think the helmet's just really nice and tight around the head sculpt. So I'm really not going to fudge with that, although I'm sure, you know, even with a little heat, you could get the helmet off if you wanted to. Although I'm not sure why you would really want that. The helmet just fits really well. It looks great. They did a wonderful job with all of the details on all four of these figures. These all just seem like such no-brainers from Hasbro, yet they refuse to give us these different, more unique looking clones. And for those curious, here's how they look with a few Jedi. We'll start things out with Kiadi and Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. And we also have Clone Wars Mace Windu and Ayla Secura. I'm so happy someone finally got Veils back in the kitchen. They were on a little bit of a dull patch for a while there, if I'm going to be completely honest, doing their little made-up clone trooper figures that they were attempting for a while. So I'm glad to see that they got back on the saddle and they gave us some really heavy hitters here. All of these look great. They are very well articulated, and they 100% fit right in with the rest of your real legitimate Black Series figures, and I love them. I personally, you know, think Veils is doing some really killer work here. Very inspired and filled with passion. I mean, these are some of the most desirable clone troopers we've wanted, and at least someone is giving us to them, and they look pretty damn awesome. I'm so happy to finally have these clone troopers on the shelf, and it's really just gonna take my clone trooper 1/12 display to the next level. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. I'm Nate from Out of the Basement, and I will see you next time.